everybody? Expat Stacker coming to you with a discussion topic video. Before I get started on this video, though, I want to give a couple of shout outs that I've been meaning to give for a while now. So I'm going to give 3 channels I want you guys to go check out in case you haven't already. The first one is Stacking Cat. And for all of these channels, obviously, I'll leave a link in the description to their channels. Go check them out. Go subscribe to their channels if you like their content, like their videos, comment on their videos, and let them know that Expat Stacker sent you over there. So yeah, the first one, Stacking Cat. He has a lot of great videos with a lot of unique bullion. He has some of the more common stuff too, but one thing I like about his videos is he has a lot of really good background information on a lot of the coins and the bullion that he has. A lot of unboxings, and he's also a fellow Californian. And also one thing I gotta get the little stands that he's got so I can put my set my bullion down without it falling over and stuff all the time. So anyway, go check out Stacking Cat. Great channel. Another one, the second one I want to give a shout out to is Silver 5150. Lots and lots of bullion. This guy has a ton. And videos are very entertaining. Some of the most entertaining I've seen in all of the stacking community here on YouTube. Really, really entertaining, very interesting, a lot of great ideas and perspectives, and a really diverse stack in terms of like not only the types of coins, but even the types of metals that he has. So definitely go check him out, Silver 5150. And the third, last but not least, is Transient Stacker. This guy is a regular, hardworking American man, very relatable, has a lot of common sense takes, good, solid, foundational stack, and excellent videos. I love the guy's perspective. He has a couple of videos, I think 3 up to this point. Bad Day Prepper, not a Doomsday Prepper, and I really like that. I like those videos. So, guys, go check out those 3 channels. Let them know that Expat Stacker sent you over there. And now, without further ado, let's go ahead and start taking a look at some coins from 2020. While I go ahead and share my thoughts, taking a look at this panda first of all. And for all this stuff, obviously, there's unboxings on my channel that you can go check out. But yeah, so I just wanted to, share my thoughts on how 2020 has gone so far. And I kind of have been thinking about it lately. There's been a lot of things that have happened, obviously, in everyone's life, but especially in my life, even before the whole pandemic situation. And I kind of thought, like, to myself very recently that, like, there's been a lot of challenging things which have happened, but, I stuck by my principles. I didn't, um, you know, change or act out of character or anything like that. And it all kind of worked out in the end, guys. And, how I was able to do that, though, is to try to find the silver lining in a lot of these situations. So, you know, um, finding the silver lining in tough situations is kind of the key to get you through tough times sometimes. And that's really been the case for me in 2020. Um, not gonna sit here and complain too much about everything that I've been through in my personal life recently, but as you guys probably know if you've been watching my channel, that I had to move unexpectedly, and it wasn't really a great situation. It was very difficult and challenging. It happened right at the beginning of the COVID-19 outbreak here in South Korea. As we take a look at this 2020 Year of the Mouse Perth Mint, beautiful, beautiful coin, 1 ounce silver coin. And it was very difficult and scary because I just had kids, and the move thing was unexpected, and it kind of happened for, I don't know, well, let's just say it was unexpected, and I didn't really agree with the circumstances in which I had to move, so I wasn't really happy about it. It was scary and nerve-wracking, and but guess what? It all worked out in the end because I moved to a place with cheaper rent and I think a nicer place for my kids to live, and also it's a quieter neighborhood. So yeah, I mean, another thing that happened with me is, I had a conflict with a superior at work. I have two jobs, and in my main one, had a conflict with a superior at work, and I kind of had like a kind of a BS performance review at the end of the year, and I was kind of expecting it, but I was still kind of bummed out about it. But I stuck by my principles. I didn't act out of character. I didn't take it out on anyone or anything like that. And guess what? Because of the whole COVID situation, nobody's getting a raise at my company this year, and so it doesn't really matter what my performance review was. And I learned some lessons in this whole situation. So I'm just grateful for that. Grateful for that it happened. And you know, um, also, like I said, I have two jobs. As we take a look at this 2020 1 ounce gold coin bar from the Perth Mint, Double Dragon, that I recently did an unboxing for. Um, yeah, I have two jobs, and one of them, the kind of like secondary job, kind of part-time job that I do, uh, was basically totally stopped, and that was about 25% of my income that was gone, which was pretty difficult to deal with at first. But luckily, stacking has helped me to be financially responsible, not only with, just buying a whole bunch of metals as much as I can, but, with other areas as well, savings, investings. I do invest in the stock market. I have other investments. Um, Including precious metals. And so, I was able to kind of make it through the situation, and things are starting to return to normal. But the silver lining in that one was that I was able to spend a little bit more time with my family, especially my kids. I have two twin daughters, only 9 months old. And just to bring it back to kind of stacking and precious metals and stuff, it's been crazy. The premiums have been crazy, and a whole bunch of volatility. But that actually, because I have principles, because I have goals, one thing Silver 5150 said on his channel about one of my videos is like that I was almost able to foresee this coming. And that's partially true. I live here in South Korea, so the outbreak started to happen, before it did in the U.S. So I had my goals, and luckily they kind of aligned a little bit with how the situation unfolded in the precious metals market. But, I did not sacrifice my principles all of a sudden when this outbreak of this pandemic started and just buy, and I'm glad I didn't. There was some volatility, there were some changes. In every crisis, there is a opportunity, and I do try to be an optimist, and find, the opportunity even in bad situations. So that is one of my principles that I'm not sacrificing. And I was able to, use the situation to convert some of my generic into some premium bullion, and I've done videos on that. So um, that was really good. But yeah, guys, like what I want to just really stress in this video to you is that there's difficult situations going on for everybody, but we have a lot to be grateful for, and these difficult situations bring about these unexpected circumstances, and sometimes that can be stressful and it feels really bad, because we don't know what's going to happen next. We don't know when things are going to go back to normal, or if they ever will go back to normal. I keep hearing the phrase new normal. I kind of don't like that because it's a buzzword, and buzzwords tend to just kind of have no meaning. But that's kind of the reality of the situation. We don't know what's going to happen next, and if things will ever really go back to being the way that they were. So, you know, I think that's very difficult and stressful, but you have to adapt to these situations. You have to improvise to new circumstances as they emerge, and try to keep your principles intact as much as possible. Maybe the situation is so extreme that you have to make some major changes or do some things that are unexpected. That's why one of the reasons I like Transient Stacker's videos is because he talks about that exact thing. So definitely go check him out again. Um, but still, you have principles and you don't want to sacrifice those principles. You just try to adapt and improvise and push through and make it through these difficult circumstances and situations. And the super high silver premiums and stuff, it's a preview of what can happen, guys. And so, another thing that I've realized through this whole situation is that I'm doing the right thing here. I'm there's been times, honestly, where I'm like, is this really all worth it? I mean, it takes a lot of discipline and sacrifice and commitment to do all this stacking stuff, and is it really worth it? And the answer is yes. I've been proven that this is the right thing to do over and over again throughout this situation. I have a stock portfolio, I have some real estate investments and other things, and I'm not rich or anything by any means. I'm trying to secure stability and safety for my family going forward in the future, and so this is serious to me. This is not just me playing with money or me trying to get rich. This is everything. And so, is this the right thing? I've often wondered that. And, throughout this whole entire situation, I think I've been proven that I am doing the right thing. I'm on the right track. And so that is reassuring, actually. That's the real test, of what you're doing, what your principles are, what your actions mean. It's not about when everything's going great. Then it's everybody's doing great when things are great. It's when situation is difficult, when times are tough, that your true character shows, and the fruits of your labor, and like what you reap, the seeds that you sow, what what's gonna come from that, and like I've just been reassured that stacking precious metals is the right thing to do, and I am going to continue to do it. Obviously, I'm not going to panic in this situation and drop all my principles and just buy everything I can, because I don't need to do that, because I have been stacking over a long period of time, So um, these super high premiums, I'm going to place some orders fairly soon, but they're going to be limited, and that was my plan anyway going into this year, so I'm not really that worried about it. I've seen a lot of videos talking about what to do and not do during this whole pandemic, and like specifically, like, oh, you should buy this amount of silver, you should buy this, you should buy that, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. I'm not going to tell you any of that stuff, guys. You got to figure that out for yourself. But what I will say is, do the stuff for the right reasons. Don't make decisions out of fear. Don't sacrifice your principles. Sometimes we do need to reevaluate what we're doing and say, "Hey, I'm doing this thing and it's not really working. So I'm going to have to change this up and do this other thing or whatever." You know, I'm not saying just keep doing whatever it is you're doing and ignore all the craziness that's going on. I'm not saying that at all, but what I am saying is you shouldn't be too reactive to the situation. I'm not going to tell you that you should buy this or that or this amount or that amount or anything like that, but what I am going to say is that you should definitely not sacrifice your principles and change and panic and react and do things out of fear. Definitely do not do that, guys. That would be probably one of the worst things you could do. I would say do what you need to do to get through this situation, and continue to try to do um, whatever you can in terms of stacking and building financial stability and strength for yourself going forward in the future. So I just wanted to look at some 2020 coins because this year has been really crazy so far for everybody, but especially for me. I've been through a lot already this year, the pandemic thing, but lots of other things going on as well. So yeah, I don't want to keep rambling too much. I think I've made my point, guys. We have a lot to be grateful for, even in very difficult situations, and there's always a silver lining that you can find, and sometimes that's what you need to do in order to get through the tough times. Guys, I hope that every single one of you is doing okay. I hope that the pandemic situation hasn't affected, or destroyed or impacted your life too much. But if it has, try to remember what I said. I mean, if you're watching this video, you have internet. If you have internet, you probably have electricity. If you have electricity, chances are you have running water. These are all things that we take for granted. So be grateful for what you got. Try to look for, the good side of a bad situation, and you'll get through. And that's why I say that finding the silver lining in a tough situation is the golden ticket. So, guys, please go check out those 3 channels that I mentioned to you in the beginning of the video. And this is the Expat Stacker, and I'll catch you on the flip side.